presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
I thought it would only be appropriate for me to open my my ball koozie with a nice penis,
perfect.
wow, nice dick opener.
Wow,
you're very phallic over there, I must say.
You have the whole setup thing there.
I have the whole setup.
You got your Rhea the welder.
It's a lot of
opener.
dick.
Yeah.
A lot of dick going on there, man.
You got a Trojan to use as a napkin or something, or
the only thing that thing needs is like a mushroom tip on it.
Hey, what do you guys think of my? What do you guys think of my Sassy Pants?
Nice
Motor Hub shirt.
What shirt that was? That's a Sassy Pants. This is motorcycles.
It's a Sassy Pants originally. It's based on the Pornhub emblem. If you're familiar with that, I'm sure you are, Dave. Just check out your subscription. You'll see it.
No, I do the porn tube, not the porn hub. But I don't go around sucking on.
I was going to say, I can't watch you fucking drink that beer out of that.
Oh,
thing
you
all
will.
night long.
It makes me laugh every time.
Close your eyes, Tony.
The only thing that would really be better if they jiggled a little bit when you drink it.
Do you watch
tell her
those
to make
things?
the next one saggy.
Check your mail. Check your mail pretty soon because I commissioned my daughter to make a few of them to send out to you.
Do you wash those things when they get dirty, or do you just keep sucking on them when they're dirty?
I mean, clean balls, dirty balls, whatever. They're all balls.
Nice.
Can you tell her to make mine rainbow, or is she only making them for the guys?
Why do you want rainbow balls, Brittany?
Just cause it's
Feels
fun.
weird.
She's inclusive.
She's inclusive. She wants the balls that identify as they them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I don't want rainbow balls. I'll pass.
Brittany, do you really have a sweater on today?
It's fucking cold. It's winter.
Can you get any more young Republican? I mean, please.
Sweaters are Republican?
Speaking of inclusive, I give Ryan 20 minutes before he starts licking the neck of that bottle.
I'm telling you.
If he starts tongue punching that bottle, I'm out.
I was gonna say, I don't think it'll take 20 minutes.
Just don't choke, dude. If you start choking, I'm going to
I don't have a gag reflex, Dave.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's not real till your eyes start to water.
Hey, I think we should try to have your daughter make one of those and we'll do a giveaway at FDBM.
Oh, for sure. There's gonna be ball koozies all around.
You'll have a long drink in it.
I'm gonna make Greg's gonna have to drink only out of ball koozie drinks the whole time we're in
Longwoods,
South Dakota.
Party
Different
foul.
long ones.
Party foul if you don't. You gotta chug your drink.
Jesus. It's a lot going on around.
I'm going to have to rethink bringing my wife.
A twisted tea?
Yeah,
she can make an extended version if you need to.
That's got a lot of girth on it there.
Dustin, if you need the two-fisted size, she can work it out.
I was going to say, that's never mind.
This will be here for the end.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can't even look at you with that sweater on.
Oh, man.
Oh.
It's fucking cold here. I'm gonna stick up for her a little bit. It's fucking cold for Kentucky.
What do you guys
Today
what do you guys
was
have right
actually
now?
warmer.
Well, today it warmed up to like in the 20s today, but like this weekend it never got out of the fucking low teens.
Yeah,
it was below that.
I'll give it to you guys. That is super cold for where
Ryan,
you
I
are.
left the Midwest to not have these temperatures.
Yeah, but Brittany, it's only going to be like that for what? Maybe like 4 or 5 days, and then you guys
gonna
are
be
in the
60
60s.
by
It was like a week and a
Yeah.
half, thanks.
We're in the
That's why
60s this
Tony and
week.
I are struggling.
Yeah. It was fucking cold though, man.
It warmed up.
Snow
It
has
warmed
been
up to
around
a-
for like a whole week. This is unusual.
It warmed up to a balmy. It's 15 degrees here right now, and I felt pretty damn good.
I think this week it's supposed to get into the 50s and rain.
No,
we'll
the
be back
20s
to
felt
normal.
great today. I went outside with the sunshine and 20s. I was like, God damn, this is nice.
Yeah, it was really cold over the weekend.
Oh man, it was miserable. I didn't leave the house. I'm not going out there. It's freezing.
So we had a Discord member throw a question out to us, right? and he is from the UK, I believe. And he was wondering if you were going to make a trip to America and you wanted to know, throw out the best rides, the best places to be, the best whatever, right? It's okay. Here we go. What would you say is the best way to come and enjoy riding in America? Book a guided tour, do Route 66, do Route 66 with or without a guide, or go to Sturgis. What's the best ways for riding bikes if you had never ridden in America at all and you were going to come here?
Is there a guided tour for motorcycles?
Oh yeah.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Yeah. So I thought a little bit about this one, and I do have some answers for this question.
Yeah, I can contribute a little bit just for this area, but I do happen to know that yes, there are guided tours.
I did not know that.
We had a group. I probably talked about this before. We had a group come from overseas, and they were guided by a gentleman. It was the Easy Rider program, or is that what it's called?
But I mean,
Eagle
are we
Rider.
talking
Eagle
like
Rider.
across the nation type guided tour, or just like a day ride through?
No, they went from
different
Chicago to California.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were taking 2 weeks to do
that's
it, I
pretty
think.
cool.
Yeah, they had just left like the day before. And I think it's an advantage if you do have a guide because, especially if you're riding 66, you can miss so much if you don't stay on the right part of 66.
Yeah, because it's so broken, isn't it?
It's so broken and splits
Yeah.
up that you're going to miss historic sites.
On my end, I don't know what riding in Europe's all about. So, I mean, I think the only person who can talk about that here is Percy because he's been there multiple times. But I mean, what type of riding do they have there? What's different there than here? I mean, what's the difference?
That's a really good question. Because that's something I think a lot of people come to the U.S. and you don't expect. You don't expect what you really get. Because I mean, like in Europe, when I would travel in Europe, I could be in 3 different countries in 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And you're going through different terrains. Everything here in the States is just really drawn out, and you really need to plan your route, because if I agree with Dustin. I mean, there's the normal stuff, right? I mean, Route 66, Black Hills, all the Me Too stuff, that everybody has on their bucket list that wants to do. But, God forbid you are on a week's ride here and you decide to cut across the Midwest, and that's half your vacation is flat interstate, so you really, I think, first thing is to pick what part of the U.S. do you want to ride? What type of terrain? Northwest? You got to deal with serial killers in the Northwest, but that's another thing.
You used to
desert there, in Europe.
Not desert, but that's the other thing, right? Southwest, is that the type of stuff you want to, do Death Valley or whatever, or Northeast?
You're gonna hit big swaths of, because I remember talking with Dad and Mad, right? And I remember talking to John about this, and he was saying, if he rode for 6 hours, he could get, mostly around his entire country, or like Dave said, to another country, right? If I ride for 6 hours, I'm not even in the second state. I'm only one state away, right? It takes me 3 hours to get out of my state. So, or like Dave, right? His home state is Texas, right? If you ride for 3 hours in Texas, you're not even to the next city.
You're not even out of the city limits.
Yeah, you might not even be out of Dallas.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you're still looking for Big South Fork.
Right. The vastness of America to somebody coming from the UK, I think would be one thing, right? So that, kind of like Dave said, I think if you're looking for Americana, you do Route 66 because that takes you through the middle of America all the way to the West Coast, right? Chicago to the West Coast is Route 66 if you're looking for Americana. I mean, if you want, I totally think it depends on what you're looking for in America, because you can go from, $1 Million Highway in Colorado to 7 mile, or 14-mile bridge in the Keys of Florida. Yeah. So I think it depends on the ride that you're looking for. One of the things I thought about was this: you could use Eagle Rider, which is I think Harley's bike rental program, or you can do the Dave. What does Volts use on occasion when he rents bikes?
That rental thing. So that's if
there's like a ride share company you can vote.
Yeah.
You can rent right from a rider, and I think Greg and Andy even did that in Louisville.
Yeah, Throttle Mahujma or whatever. I mean, you need to, I think before you get to the bike, you need to figure out what is it you want to do, right? What do you want to experience? Because when it comes down to, I just went through this in South Africa, figuring out how to source a bike, what are all the variables you need to figure out with that, right? And a lot of that comes down to things like how much you're going to ride. Because a lot of bikes will have a limit to how many miles you can do per day on the bike. So you need to kind of look at that. Does the type of, make sure you get a type of bike that fits with what area you're going to be riding.
You could do one of those once in a lifetime trips. If you were coming from Europe and you were going to spend 2 weeks in America, you could ride 3 days in an area, jump on a plane, fly to another area, ride 3 days there, fly to, and you could ride different portions of the United States over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And 100%. Just fly from each place and then rent an Eagle Rider bike and ride for a couple days. And if you did something like that, you could ride Beartooth Pass in Montana. You could ride $1 Million Highway in Colorado. You could ride the, A1A in Florida. You could ride the Pacific Coast Highway in California. You know what I mean? You could ride the Pacific Northwest, and you could ride, down in Tennessee and spend 2 weeks and ride 5 or 6 of those places and really get a nice swath or cut across the entire United States.
Just make sure you go to Uranus.
And you better have a pocket full of money to pull that one off too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
it may not be as bad as you think. It may not. I mean, because it really depends on what kind of deal you get on the bike and airfare. I mean, I think to be honest with you, Brian, that's a brilliant idea. Just make sure that you're bringing the gear for each one of those areas that you're going to be in, because in the U.S. you could hit every type of climate you can imagine.
Right. Well,
where you are.
And if you were buying one-way tickets, right, and flying, say, Southwest one-way tickets, I mean, you could get some of those tickets for pretty damn cheap.
No, I think that would be the way to do it, because then you could experience all of it instead of it'd basically be a highlight reel.
It'd be exactly. That's exactly what it would be. It'd be a highlight reel of the different areas. I mean, let's be honest, right?
It'd be like watching the Red Zone on Sunday.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Because let's be honest, you don't want to waste your time riding a motorcycle east to west across Texas. I mean, that's 2 fucking days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to hit those pockets, that's half your time, right?
Yeah.
And just, boring crap.
For sure.
Not that Texas is boring. Hill country's nice.
Fuck.
One portion of the third United States, which Texas is the whole rest of the state is boring.
I know the Panhandle is.
We have a lot of subscribers that are from Texas. I like Texas. I like
Hey Dave, you got something a little something right here on your nose.
Hey,
got to get that out there.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, there may be people out there that maybe they want to experience the whole change in terrain, even if, let's say, that part of Texas is more in the Midwest. Stay off the interstate.
Yeah,
that's the best advice I give anybody that comes to the Midwest is stay off the fucking interstate, and don't judge the Midwest by the fucking interstate, because that's not all we are.
Yeah, you have to.
It's a lot of what you are.
How would you know?
You have
a home dad.
Oh,
Just saying, not much in the
the
Midwest.
interstate is terrible.
You have to hit the interstate when you're traveling in the Midwest to chew up miles. But the little pockets of gold are going to be off the interstate. I mean, listen, I've ridden down to see Dustin 3 or 4 times now. I think I've been down there 4 times. And on this last trip this last summer, just because we decided to go a different way and to ride further up the river road than I had done in the past, we ended up in this little tiny mining town that we didn't know was there in northern Illinois with these huge fucking caves that were like dug into the side of the hill. The road was stained with iron ore. It was fucking crazy. And I'd never seen it. And then this giant bridge that went over the river. And we just happened upon this little hole in the wall town only because we weren't on a major highway. We weren't on a major interstate. We were just on, off the road somewhere, We stopped in a small town to get gas, and the local, the local biker guy drove up at the gas station to check on us to see what the fuck we were doing in their town. I mean, that kind of shit happens in the Midwest, and it's kind of cool.
You could just ride the meat raffle to meat raffle.
There's
That's
a meat
true.
raffle tour we'll take you on when you come.
I don't
and
know.
in between the meat raffles, you can guzzle down some nuts.
I mean,
I don't know where Whit's from, and Whit is the one that asked this
She's
question.
in Wisconsin, isn't she?
No,
Oh, Whit.
this is the
Different
other Whit.
Whit.
This isn't Whit Mazo. But one of the things that you really have to be aware of in the U.S. is like in Europe, if you're riding around Europe, you can usually get from point to point with a lot of stuff in between, right? Or not too distant. But if you get out on the back roads in the U.S.,
You can get fucked really quick.
you could get fucked real quick, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that you're watching, your fuel and the distance between points.
So is there an app that there has to be a
There are
map app?
There's
where you can,
there's all kinds of apps that
you
have
can make
like,
a route. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I just
can-
got Rever Pro. I'm actually going to be
haven't
testing
used
it
that.
out soon.
I used, we've used Rever in our group, and I don't like it anymore. But
well, I didn't have to pay for it. So
there you
I'm
go.
giving it a shot.
I much prefer just the regular Apple Maps or Google Maps. I mean, it'll tell you, how far to your next gas station, all of that kind of stuff. I prefer.
but you can't plan a route in those, can you?
Yeah,
Can you
you
plan a
can't
route
with
in those?
Google.
You can in Google. You can
Can
plan a
you?
map.
You
You
can.
can plan a
Not-
route with Google.
Not 100%. So it will
Yes, you can.
reroute you. Like you can't just put in your starting place and your destination and then hit go because it will pick whichever route it thinks is the best. You have to make sure you put in like
You have to add
along
stops.
the
You
way.
can build
do it
your
if you have
route.
You can build a route.
People do it every day.
Yeah, you can build a route.
I
build
know.
it.
I'm just saying it's not the most conducive. if
This
you
is
wanna
fucking
take,
weird.
Like, back roads and shit.
Ryan and I are sitting here trying to push Google. You're saying no. This what the
I
fuck
love
is going
Google
on
Maps.
today?
Fuck Google too.
I use it all the time.
I'm
But
gonna
as
use it
far
on
as
Android
planning
phone. Microsoft
motorcycle
one.
trips, it's not conducive to things like that.
Apple-
Like if you're trying to do back roads,
I like it
it's
better
not
than
conducive.
I like it better than Apple Maps.
I
I
use
always
Apple.
You
plan
can
in
get
Google.
these apps like on X and stuff like that where you can actually draw your own fucking route
Yeah.
from point A
Yeah.
to point B.
Yeah,
You know what
those
I
are
mean?
nicer for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, with coming to the U.S., I mean, like everyone said, you have to pick locations you want to go and visit and almost focus on those because it's just so much bigger here. Everything is so much more spread apart than Europe. So it's like
Yeah,
Dave said, you can't come here and expect to go from California all the way to Florida. You have to kind of pick and focus which areas you want to go to.
Yeah, you get dropped off at JFK and have a bike say go. You're gonna have to go in a straight line if you're gonna get
You're
City
fucked.
pretty quick,
Really.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to talk to Chris over at Aussie and the Indian because she just did this. She just after Sturgis or over the Sturgis period, that in like 2 months, she just rode the U.S.
Well,
I don't
I
know
mean,
if she was
fucking
sponsored
Whit did
by
48.
Indian or
Whit hit 48 states, didn't she?
yeah, but I mean, but she like took I don't know
God damn
6
those
weeks or
balls.
something and went everywhere. So it'd be interesting
Yeah,
to know
that'd
how
be
she
cool.
planned that. Although she may have been sponsored by Indian, so maybe they helped her. But be interesting.
And
talking
she
about
made
that.
it
Yeah,
on an Indian.
yeah, yeah.
I would argue
On
this,
her
Dave.
Indian.
I would argue that I think it would be just like what Tony said. You hit a smattering of or a highlight reel of the United States. You know what I mean? I think if you're going to see the United States, you need to do like what Adam Sandoval did and spend 4 years on the road and go back and forth and up and down and left and
Yeah.
right and different roads and different routes and talk to the locals and find out where they tell you to ride and ride with somebody like Tony who takes you to ass raping land or
Well,
wherever.
you know what though?
You know?
Let's be honest. There's a few states you don't ever want to go to.
Okay, let's
You don't
name
need
them.
to go to.
Name
you
them.
know?
Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to ride through Indiana. There's nothing redeeming about that fucking state. So why do it? But you know what? People want to go to Colorado, so the best way to get there is just fly and get dropped off in Colorado.
Yeah, what is that $1 million
highway.
highway? Yeah, I mean that's a
You know,
that's a route.
same with California. Just get dropped off in California.
You go from San Diego all the way up to Washington State.
Yeah.
There's also
take 2 weeks to do it. That'd be good.
now for our ADV and ADV riders out there and dirt bike riders, there is a BDR or backroads country route all the way across the United States now, and almost every state has a
Yeah.
BDR map now.
Yeah.
So you can ride backcountry and off roads now in just about every state, from what I understand.
That's
Yeah.
But
pretty
there
cool.
is a BDR across the United States too. That is some of it is probably nearly impassable.
Yeah, what's that route? It's like from Florida diagonal across, right?
It's
Yeah,
diagonal.
Seattle to
Yeah.
Jacksonville,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a backcountry route that does that. But like I said, you're going to hit some areas that are not very well maintained, and it's going to be some serious fuckery.
But
So do not take a fucking what's
So-
that bike? What's that bike, Tony? That your nephew has? What is that big bastard?
The BMW, the GS 1250.
You better not take a GS 1250. You better take the smaller version of that bike so you can lift that fucker up about 47 times.
47. So let me ask you this, since you all have ridden through the Midwest, give me one state that you say, fuck, there's no reason to ever go there.
Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst state to drive through?
Kansas.
I
Kansas
hate
is pretty
driving
terrible.
through
Nebraska's pretty
part
terrible.
of Colorado. Like if you have to go across Colorado,
Brittany,
it's
what's
just like the other areas in the Midwest. It's fucking terrible.
Brittany? What's the east-west interstate that goes across Nebraska? Is it I-90?
I-80.
I-80. That's a fucking
I-80.
terrible. That is
80.
a death
It's
trap.
so
That is a death trap.
Boring. It's
80's
so
a
boring.
piece of shit from Illinois across Iowa, across
Yeah.
Nebraska.
It's
Those are
so
those
boring.
states I wouldn't.
Kansas.
That's a shitty road. Now
Not a
this is
fan.
the
So
this
stay
is the
away
thing.
from Kansas.
Yeah, this is the thing though. Like you say that, but like I think this is my opinion. I think that there are hidden gems or intrinsic beauty in all of these places. But if you're just talking about droning out miles on interstates, they all
Yeah.
fucking suck. All of them.
Yeah.
Every
I'll
fucking
tell you what,
interstate.
I've ridden
across-
through Indiana a lot, and there is nothing. There is no gym there.
No, just a bunch of truck drivers. But I think
that-
if you're
there's
coming
no
from
gym
Europe
whatsoever.
and you
Well,
want
this
to
is-
experience America, stay out of the Midwest, pick a region, right? That you like the Pacific Highway. Oh my God. That would be an
Yeah.
amazing ride for a week and a half.
Go see the big redwoods.
You know what though,
man.
Dave?
Yeah.
I've heard the Pacific Highway can suck too because there's so much RV traffic and stop and go shit on there.
That could be. But I mean the region, right? Pick a region
Yeah.
that's got a lot of different stuff.
Yep.
Right, where you can take your time and you're not spending 12 hours a day on a motorcycle
So
trying
would
to
you
get the
say
fuck
that
out of
the-
the middle of nowhere.
Northeast would be cool up there. Maine. and
I'm
Vermont.
really that's on my list right now.
I would think
that's
so.
that's one, and I know Dustin's talked about it as well. I really would like to ride. I had a really good time when I went up to Montreal, cutting through like upstate New York. I was totally shocked.
I want to ride Arizona, Nevada. That's where I want to ride. I know that. I mean, I love the beautiful
Sounds
Red
hot.
Rock Desert.
Can you imagine
and-
riding into Vegas at
man.
night, like when the sun's going down?
I've driven across that desert. I was even thinking them while I was driving. I'm a little iffy riding a bike.
Well,
I'm
they have-
going to have a bunch of lowbrow fuel bottles on my bike if
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Monument Valley in Utah is one of the most beautiful places in the United States.
So my question is that gas station, that last chance for gas,
Stop.
is it $25 a gallon,
and it's reasonable.
because at that point it's like, hey man, I'm gonna charge whatever because you're fucked unless you get it.
Yeah, there's a gas station like that too on Beartooth Pass. That's at the very top of the mountain. That's only open like 2 months a year, and that shit's expensive up there too.
So let's talk about bikes for a second. So, sourcing a bike, one of the things that I found out when I did this trip in South Africa, I tried everything I could to stay away from those fuckers at Eagle Rider.
Okay.
And what I actually found out was not all Eagle Riders are the same.
Correct.
That Eagle Rider at Las Vegas Harley Davidson that can go fuck themselves every day of the week. I was trying to, fuck, man, they still owe me $500.
Oh, they really deep digged you.
They screwed everybody on COVID, but that's another story. So I was real hesitant to rent the bike from them. And then what I actually come to find out, the place I rented from is the Eagle Rider partner or whatever they call it for that region in South Africa. They all run different. And these guys, this was the best experience ever. And they weren't trying to screw anybody over. Very customer service oriented.
It's pretty limited though, right? I mean, it's not like you can go to there's not multiple ones like Hertz and fucking.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on what state you're at or what location, but they could have, one or two. And I think maybe that's part of, you pick the area you want to ride in, then you pick your starting point, find a place you can deal with and get a good deal on a bike. And that's where you start.
Or you just call Harley and ask them for an extended test ride.
There you go. There you go.
I want to test ride this to California.
So how did you go about finding bikes, Dave? Like, I've searched before. So, like, as an example, since we weren't sure if we were going to ride up to Sturgis or not, I started to try and look. And the only thing that would come up is Eagle Rider. So do you have any tips for finding other sources?
Yeah, it was, I found a lot. And what I did was I went to this thing called Google. And I typed in rent a motorcycle in South Africa.
I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
And then I actually read what was on the page and I discounted. I shit you not. I literally stayed away from Eagle Rider because of my experience with the one out in Las Vegas. So I went to all the different groups and there are a ton there. I'm sure there are a ton here as well. Until I, found what I wanted, but then it was I couldn't get the bike I wanted. So I ended up then contacting the people at the Eagle Rider there and they hooked me up. But but there's just Google.
So what is it? I mean, you don't have to tell us but what does it cost to rent a bike? I have no idea. I mean, what are you looking at?
So all I can tell you is when me and the guys were before COVID hit, when we were rented at Las Vegas, we were paying something for, I think it was 3 days for Softails.
So about
$120
$120 a day. Yeah, somewhere around there. And then, what did I pay for? I got a good deal at Eagle Rider in Cape Town. I paid less than that.
So are you hamstrung on miles with them?
What's that?
I mean, can you ride? They give you unlimited miles through Eagle Rider, or
no? I had a limit on kilometers each day. But one of the cool things too was they had routes. They had maps all over the walls, like these really cool, funky looking maps, and they had routes of different regions, and they would have the mileage for each one. And there was one that they were recommending that I do, and they said, but if you want to manage the mileage, then you want to overnight, get to this point, then overnight. But that's another thing to look at as you're riding. Like I knew I had more miles than it looked like I had because I was picking up the bike halfway through the first day and I was turning it in the morning of the last day. So I had all of that mileage right for those time periods to add in. So I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't go over.
And well, I'll tell you what, if anybody wants to come to Kentucky, I'm doing guided tours of all the gas.
Well, and they had
all the Louisville gas stations because he won't go to the next town.
The Louisville gas stations. I do branch out to Lexington.
I would recommend, I've never done this, but I would go to Viator, VIA
Vibrator.
Yeah, Viator. VIATOR.
I was thinking about it, but he said it.
Vibrator.
I use these guys all over the
Yes,
world.
you do.
Yeah, I do. They have an app. I use these guys all over the world. I've been, I don't know how many countries, and just type in for the area that you're thinking about. And chances are you can locate a guide, or someone offers a guided tour on bikes. But I would check that out. I don't
So
get a
you
commission
Google
on
vibrator
that,
and they give you a guided tour.
Oh, God, I'm trying to help
Guided
this
vibrator.
guy out.
Here's how you use
Vibrator.
it.
Trying to educate people. You and your ball koozie.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
if you-
No, it's Viator. Highly recommended if you're
Violator.
The B is silent. I get it.
Viator. Hopefully you guys are getting this through all the bullshit and it helps you out. But yeah,
We're
but that's
going to
something
book
to
a
do.
tour with Violator, and it goes through the woods.
And it goes through the woods.
Take you in the woods.
You might,
Definitely goes
you
through
might land in
Louisville.
a bush or two.
You might.
I'm so sorry, Whit. Trying to help you out, bro. You got my digits. Hit me up.
American bushes are something to see.
I'm just saying. That's one of those mountain beavers.
Anyway, did we cover that?
Well, I think so. Hold on a second. So we decided that maybe the best way is to do the highlighted tour, going from place to place, so you can decide where you want to go. Right? Tony says avoid the Midwest. I think if you want Americana, and you want
You have to
something
go
with-
through the Midwest.
Right. If you want Americana, you have to go through the Midwest, and you should do Route 66, right? And I agree with Dustin if you do it guided, because that thing is all over the place now. They've replaced parts of the road, they've moved it. So it's not, if you're not from America, it's not as easy as it might like to think to navigate that bad boy. And it actually goes from about the middle of the United States to the western half, right? So it goes from Chicago
It starts
to
in Chicago,
California.
doesn't
Yeah.
It goes to San
yeah.
Diego, right?
And it goes to San Diego, right? So it's kind of even a diagonal diagonal path from the from Chicago to San Diego. So it kind of goes south.
But
Southwest,
very
kind of.
different terrains and environmental conditions.
All the
Very,
way
very
through it.
different.
Yep.
Yeah.
And elevations. Yep, elevations too. So that if you want Americana, but if you want like to see the United States, you'd probably want to do the flight from different place to place and
highlight reel.
Do a highlight reel like Tony said. I like that. I like that phrasing for that idea of a ride. And as far as rentals, I think you have lots of options. I think one option also that we didn't talk about is that there's like a ride share. There's a bunch of companies that do ride share for motorcycles now that you can rent directly from a person who owns said motorcycle that you want to rent. And you can pay per day and mileage. And each one of those plans is individual based on the person who's renting it. And that's another option for rental of a motorcycle. But usually for that, you have to drop it off where you picked it up because it's an owner to owner kind of, situation.
I will say one of the challenges you need to think about, or one of the things you need to think about, if you are a full face helmet wearer, because I don't think it really matters if you don't wear a real helmet, you wear a half helmet or whatever. You probably want to ride with your own helmet.
Yeah, man, you don't want
So-
to. You might as well just stick your head up somebody's ass if you want somebody.
Yeah. So flying with a helmet, and this is something I had to put a lot of thought into. Flying with a helmet is something you need to plan around.
You just can't wear it.
can't wear it.
You can bring it with you and just put it in the overhead luggage bin, can't you?
You can if you're not carrying too much shit.
Oh, you have to have that very special aviation green card that Dave has, where you get the frequent flyers and the hand job and the warm towels.
I will say, out of all the flights that I took, I only had to pay for the helmet once. All the
there you
others,
go.
all the
And all the
others I
hands
didn't have to
out
pay
for free.
Yeah. He's got to pass that 5-knuckle shuffle lounge.
But it is something that you have to think about is your gear, because it does add to your kit for sure.
Yeah, and you're going to need to pack. I mean, if you're going to do some of these rides, are going to be a variety of different temperatures. So, you're going to have to pack some different kind of riding gear too.
Yeah, I mean, I took my rain gear.
Yeah, if you bring just a jeans and a t-shirt, you might die.
Yeah,
Just
I took
saying.
my rain gear.
I mean, the thing is that's a big question because as we determined, the United States is fucking huge.
It is.
And
It's
diverse.
giant.
And
Yeah,
diverse.
it's fucking giant.
Yeah. I mean, I rode 11,000 miles last year in 16 states, and I didn't get out of the Midwest.
No, it's all the
So-
meat raffles.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude. That's crazy.
It's all those
Yeah.
meat raffles and testicle festivals.
Yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
bunch of testicle festivals and meat raffles, and some swass and some rainstorms.
That's cray cray.
it sounds like I've seen a lot of action on the interwebs here about people love them nuts.
Yeah. Dave, how many states did you ride in last year? Did you? No, I'm not talking states you haven't been in, just states in general.
It's funny you asked that. I just bought one of those. I saw Christian had one of those patches where you
Highlight
color in. Yeah.
Yeah.
9, I think.
9.
I think I figured 9 just
Sure.
last summer.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Yeah. I've done
You rode your balls off this last season, didn't
I've
you?
done about 13,000 miles each of the last 2 years, and I did about
Pretty good.
15,000 the year before that on the Fat Bob.
God damn.
You can't ride that touring bike as long as you can ride that Fat Bob?
He's
Or is it
older
just-
now.
Yeah, he's older. That's right. He's 3 years older.
No,
He doesn't
Hey
have to
man,
go
when you
anymore.
get our ages, they're like dog years.
No, because when I had the Fat Bob, I did a lot of riding during COVID, and
Oh,
COVID
yeah,
gave us the best riding conditions in the history of riding conditions.
Interstates
Yeah,
were
you're probably
clear.
right.
I mean, we were crushing miles, and we were
It
taking
was
trips
just-
all the time.
It was
I
just
still
us and
say-
truckers.
I
That's it.
still say one of the best videos ever was when you went to Washington D.C. on your Fat Bob, and there was fucking no one. There was
Oh.
no one. You're making
When I
a
was sitting
video.
on the steps of
You're
the
sitting on the steps of Lincoln
Lincoln Memorial, yeah,
and there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
one
yeah,
out there, and I was like, "What? This
Yeah.
is a nuclear holocaust."
Gosh, this is fucking weird.
Could hear a pin drop.
That whole fucking, if you think about it, that was a tough time, man.
It was a weird time.
That
well,
was a
I
weird-
mean, there were
There was some good stuff though that came out of it. Like it was really bizarre, but
you know what came out of COVID?
Please make me a list because I'd love to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The
Well,
first couple of weeks, it was great.
This motherfucker right here came out of COVID. This podcast came out of COVID.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a
I mean,
minute.
it hit
Wait,
right
wait,
there.
wait. No,
we
it
started
didn't.
in
no,
19.
that was before. That
We
was
were
the
a
year
year
before
late.
COVID.
We started in a year right, but we blew up. We really blew up during COVID.
Well, it's because we had nothing to do.
Nor did
we
anybody
really
else.
didn't. I mean,
yeah, but that's kind of part of it. I mean, like
Yeah.
I was able to travel more. Part of that was because I had a different job. I had just taken a new job, but since everybody was working remote, for me being out, like moving out of state, I was able to go back and like see my family and spend more time with my family than I would have been able to otherwise without
Fucking, I
COVID.
hated working remote.
So,
I thought it was
I don't
great
know,
for about
there's-
2 weeks. I was like, this is the best thing
There's
ever.
How the
some
fuck do
stuff.
you work remote?
There
You
was
go in and
less
nail trim.
traffic.
Oh, it didn't work, but it was great. That's the thing. I sat there. I was like, "This is fantastic.
like,
I don't
who you
have to
fucking
work. I
fooling?
don't have
You
to
know-
deal with anybody. Don't have to go over to people's houses. They ain't coming over here. This is fantastic. It's a fucking dream."
It was. We had good travels, Other than us, Walter and I got ourselves in some, interesting situations. Riding through West Virginia
guess
and
so,
other
violator.
certain states, and we're all masked up, and people are looking at us like we're fucking crazy. But it's good times.
That's a state to avoid right there, West Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful
speaking of
riding in
West
West Virginia, man. Oh, I tell you, the mountains in West
Riding's
Virginia.
beautiful, but there's some weird ass
Man, you
people
get
there. Dave.
cornholed in West Virginia.
Yeah, that's some
West
weird-ass
Virginia
people.
makes Kentucky look fucking like Chicago.
I've been a lot of other places than the West Virginia where you can get cornhole, buddy.
Dave goes to all the cornhole places.
I mean, fucking
I tell you what,
Kentucky's like New York compared to West Virginia.
fucking the mountains in Tennessee. You can get in some trouble there.
You
Don't
can get
see-
in a little bit of trouble there, but those West Virginia ninjas, boy, they'll get you.
I bet you if you counted the teeth in the backwoods of Kentucky, and the teeth of the backwoods of West
no.
Virginia, that'd be a battle.
Well, see,
That'd be a
here's the
battle.
difference. In Kentucky, there's still teeth.
Oh my God! Let me
In West
In West Virginia,
they've already
there's
worn
a
them down
deuce.
to the nubs.
let me check our Patreon report. See how many Patreons we have in West Virginia. We're so sorry.
How are the hot
apologize
pockets there,
for that.
Dave?
Speaking of Patreon, get out there and join our Patreon. Support what we do. Get perks.
Get perks. What kind of perks?
Win some shit. Win some shit. We give away some shit. Hey, who are we giving away shit to from this time, by the way?
Well, I'll tell you what you're not giving away to somebody that lives in West Virginia is dental floss.
A strong way to clean that thing off.
Oh my God!
That is a state where they do not need it. They do not sell dental floss.
Well, to everybody else that's in our top tier patron level, we just gave away a $100 Amazon gift card. We do quarterly giveaways on each quarter, oddly enough. And
Yeah,
I don't know. Do we have anything to announce that for
We
the
have-
next quarter?
Coming
we have
up,
lowbrow
we have
customs
Lowbrow.
coming up. Yep.
Yep, Lowbrow Customs
Yep.
sponsoring our next giveaway. I think
That's
we have to
where Lowbrow's
decide
on
what
his
stuff we're giving away. So we have multiple prizes, I don't know, giveaways from Lowbrow that we're going to hand out this year, but I don't know if we've decided which is going to be for the next quarter.
Okay. So we don't know what's going to be next quarter, but
But coming from lowbrow.
It's
Yep.
coming from Lowbrow.
sponsored by Lowbrow. And we do that every quarter, and the value is at least $100 in value.
Yep.
So
It's good stuff.
join our patron.
Join the Patreon. I got a story for you. I thought it was pretty funny. It just hit me. So when it was cold, right, we'd let the dogs out to shit in the front yard so they could just go through the thing with the leash. So they all shit in the same spot, right? So we got like this fucking turd city right in front of the fucking front door. The postman came up and hit every turd on the way to the front porch.
That's not even cool,
Poor
dude.
bastard was wiping
That's
his feet.
horrible.
Mr.
He
McFeely
was
was
dropping
pissed.
off the baggage, and I mean, boy, he was looked like he had fucking shit boots on. I mean, he had every turd.
Poor post office
Dude,
guy.
you're gonna have shitty mail service here for the next
Oh, dude,
like
we
month.
We need to send Tony a sign that says, "Don't walk on the shitty grass."
Oh, it was because it was dark and he couldn't see it, and he kept slipping on it. You know,
Oh my god.
Is he like Mr. Jones on Friday?
he would like wipe it off in the grass, then he'd take another step
Oh.
and slip another.
Oh man, that's horrible, dude.
Did you get that on your Ring doorbell cam, Tony?
Yeah, that's what I was
You should
wondering.
post that on YouTube. That'll go viral.
Oh shit!
Slipping
That
and
poor
shit.
bastard was just. I mean, it was a turd minefield, man. There was no way you were getting through it unscathed. I mean, it's. We need
You
to go
sat
out
there
and
and
pick him
watched
up.
this shit happen.
I did. I took the package from him. I was like, already got all that.
You're lucky he didn't slap you.
Did you give him a tip?
Oh yeah, I just gave him a tip. Take the driveway. There's your tip.
That was great.
Oh my god,
Oh.
pretty shitty.
Ryan can't even sit up now. He's
Oh fuck! That
Ooh.
hurts so bad.
Bro,
Oh, damn it!
Man, I remember having to play hopscotch through your yard when I came a couple months back.
Dude, it was thick in there tonight. That fucking mail truck's gotta be fucked up.
don't you have like ice or snow covering your yard?
No, it all melted today.
Oh, so super soggy.
Moist sounds.
So it was wet shit.
Soggy shit.
It was soggy shit.
It was mostly thawed.
And I was that motherfucker tap dancing in that shit, man.
Did he look like Fred Astaire?
He did, man.
Putting
Bottom
on
of
the
that
shit.
mail truck all fucked up with shit on it.
Oh man, it was bad.
Oh, Tony's gonna get a full flaming bag of human feces on his doorstep here pretty soon.
Well, again, the tip. I gave him a solid tip. Use the driveway.
Stay on the cement.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
Well, for episode
All right.
3, I don't know. Did we mention where FTBM is going to be in 2024?
Where's it going to be?
Well,
Right here on the couch.
On the casting couch.
it's going to be on the casting couch.
Yes.
Dibs on the right cushion.
That
That one in the middle looks like it's still got some life in it.
That left one has been beat to shit. That thing is
that
sunk
left one's
down
got
low. Oh man.
Not many face drags have hit that cushion.
Oh wow.
It's here.
It's there. Iron Horse Inn, Whitewood,
Iron
South
Horse
Dakota.
Inn.
July 26th through the 28th.
Yep.
For
I started,
reservations, call 605-772-7574.
I started booking my shit today for the route to and fro.
To and
Nice.
fro. How long does it take for you to get there, Percy? Is it a 3-day trip or 2?
3 days.
3 days?
Like just under 1,900 miles.
You going through Indiana?
Fuck, I don't have a choice.
You know, I saw
don't have
At
a
least, you're
fucking
going,
choice.
at least you're going across it and not up it.
But you know what I'm not doing? I'm not going across 80 across Iowa this time.
Hey, I
Oh,
need
it's
to
terrible.
I need to do this. I need to give a shout out because I was looking on the Discord, and I know that Matt that lives up by you guys who had to duck out early of FDBM 23, they're trailering. So I
Yep.
believe they're bringing 4 bikes, maybe. I don't know. He's bringing a whole crew with him this
Yep.
time, and I think they're trailering. Dev RC Racer, he and his wife are trailering because they aren't going to get enough PTO, but they're still coming. I mean, we have people that have really committed to making this trip, and I just want to give a shout out to some of those people that have talked about it. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but I know that they were mentioning it. I read it today on our Discord that people are really making some big commitments to make it out there to this trip this year, and so that's super encouraging. And I really want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you so much for continuing to support what we do here at the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast, and for coming out to this event this year. It's such a great place to ride. I've said it a million times, and I know that it will not disappoint. I know I said it when Dave came out there. He agreed that South Dakota does not disappoint. So.
Yeah, and I don't want to give any names out because I'm looking here and I don't think he's posting in the Discord yet, but we do have a Discord member who reached out to me over the weekend because he's going to be trailering and he's got space for other bikes. And he wanted to know if it was okay for him to post on the Discord to let people know that in case people wanted to tag along. So I told him, of course. So, I mean, the community is really coming together.
Yeah.
And already and planning on getting out there. It's going to be a fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to get with you guys and get some details of where and when you guys are going to be and when you're going to be there, because my crew sounds like we're all going to be riding. We might be riding separately completely. I don't know. Bob and I might be coming up together with our wives driving in a car. I know Nick is going up much earlier than we are, and he's going up with his wife, and they're going to spend some days touring around in a Jeep before they ride around up there. I know that Kenny's fiance is driving out and he's riding his bike out there. So, I mean, people are really making some commitments to make it happen this year. And so it's going to be a really good time. I myself, for one, am looking forward to an FDBM where every single guest that's coming is going to be in the same place.
Yeah, that's going to be,
I
cool.
guarantee you, I will make this promise that at least myself and Greg will shut down the bar at least one night during FDBM.
I have no
Well, if
doubt
I got
about
the
that.
room next to the bar, I ain't gonna sleep.
So, you don't need to worry about that. The bar is very separate from the room. So
Okay.
you go to your room and you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, my wife's going to fly out the week before, and she's never been to the area. I always wanted to go, so we're going to rent a Jeep and spend the week kind of tootling around, and then check into the Iron Horse Inn a day or two before FDBM.
Yeah, I was
That'd be
thinking
fun.
I would meet Dustin and Tony down in Sioux Falls so I can listen to Tony bitch for 6 hours into his into our comms about what it's like to ride across South Dakota.
And you can lick a dick.
You know, I like.
No, but you're absolutely right. I will bitch the entire time.
No, you
I know
won't.
I know you will.
No, you won't. I enjoy going now that most of the construction's done. I enjoy going across South Dakota.
Is there going to be concrete dust?
No.
It's no, and it's like flat. You put the cruise on 85, and you just chew the aisles very quickly. Very quickly.
For those that have.
It's a fast ride.
You got cruise control, Tony.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
You don't yes you do.
should.
How about
Cruise control on
ST?
that bike.
No,
The Lowrider S does not have cruise control.
it does not.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
You can get it.
He doesn't have the ST.
You better order that shit before you go and get that shit installed.
It's only been on back
I
order
don't
for
know.
2
It's not
fucking
that
years.
bad.
Yeah,
Quickness. You better go back and buy. You better tell your dealership they better source that shit before you go.
Yeah, good luck. That has
I
been
know
on
that-
back
See if we
have
order
it.
forever.
Well, that is a long trip, though, I guess. But I've ridden without cruise control, and it's nice to have it. But actually, half the time when we're riding in a group, none of us can get our fucking cruise control to match up, anyways. So you keep having to adjust it.
You said blip it up or blip it down.
Yeah, we have to.
Or
do
You got to
that
use
on
you got to use a
constantly.
blipper, Brittany.
And do your own thing. Later, fuckers.
Just open it up.
No, I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'm going to get on that tonight.
Well, if
Open
you
it
want,
up and let
Tony,
that
if
big
you want
boy
me
eat.
to see if we got it, if your dealership doesn't,
Yeah,
check with the
I'd imagine
guys.
I can order it online.
okay, they should have it by now. I mean, it should be in stock.
I don't know, man. I've been hearing
It's
people
been on
bitching
back
about
order
that
for a
forever.
long time, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, everybody, join us here on the FDB podcast next week, where we will be putting in our 2 cents about the Harley Davidson reveal happening on the 24th.
2 days from now.
2 days
2
from
days
this
from now.
recording, a few days after.
Wednesday.
It's going to be interesting.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us again on the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast. Until next time, keep it dirty.